Someone tried to scam me over the weekend. Ironically, it happened while I was at the venue where we were holding our Project Green Emerald City Gala. And I received a phone call. The caller ID said that it was from Washington, D.C. Usually I don't answer the calls if it's unknown, but I thought perhaps it was one of our national partners that was calling with maybe some good news as it relates to fair lending and responsible lending and the advocacy that we do at that level. But instead, the person on the other line said that she was calling from the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. And she asked for me by name, and she informed me that they had record of me purchasing a cell phone from a Verizon store in Washington, D.C. back in January. And she informed me that that cell phone had been used to share some pictures that were criminal. I'll just put it that way. I won't go into detail, but you probably can imagine. Obviously, they got my attention, and it alarmed me. I assured her I had not been to Washington, D.C. in January. I've not purchased another phone. And she proceeded to ask me some other questions. For example, well, who would have used your information to purchase a phone? And I told her, I have no idea. You are the person who called me telling me about this, and I know nothing about it. She said, well, we've sent you 2 letters in the mail and you hadn't responded, so that's why we're calling you. So I asked her, well, where did you send those letters? And she shared with me an address in the state of Florida, which obviously is not mine because I live in Michigan. And she said, well, that explains why you didn't respond to the letters. Yeah, you're exactly right. So I asked her some more information. I said, well, what information of mine, what identifying information of mine can you share with me that confirms that they have this phone in my name? And she did not answer that question. But what she threatened me with was that if this was not resolved in 2 hours, that every phone that's connected to my name was going to be shut down. And so I said to her, okay, well then how do I resolve this? She told me that I needed to call the Washington, D.C. police and file a report. And I said, okay, so you're calling me, telling me my phones are going to be shut down, but there's no way that I can resolve this issue with you? And she said, yeah, we've got to have a police report. So then I asked her, okay, you said you're calling from the FCC. What's the phone number to the FCC where I can call back to confirm that what you're saying to me is legitimate? So she gave me a phone number, and I asked a few more questions, and I ended up saying to her, ma'am, nothing that you're saying to me makes any sense. And so, I may have said thank you for calling me, but I said I'm going to end the call at this time. And I did. I hung up. My wife was there with me and heard me talking to this person the whole time. And, I was convinced that it was a scam. My wife reassured me not to worry about it. But I'm sharing this because I just thought it was providential and ironic that this happened while Project Green was in the midst of doing the work that we do of economic empowerment and trying to protect consumers from having their money taken from them in ways that they did not intend. And here I was almost the victim of a scam. And so after I got off the call, I looked up the 888 phone number that she gave me on Google, and I discovered that there are companies overseas, I don't know about companies, but scammers overseas that are using a legitimate FCC hotline phone number that they are spoofing, or they're spoofing those numbers and intercepting those numbers in order to get legitimate information from consumers. So I wanted to warn all of our Project Green followers, and anybody else who sees this video, don't give any information. If you get a phone call like this or anything else that you think is suspicious, stop it right there at the entry. Don't let them dupe you into sharing information. I didn't tell her anything more about me than what she already knew when she called. I was disturbed by the fact that she knew my name and she had my phone number, but who knows? That information is, I'm sure anybody can find that. So ask questions, push back, ask for information where you can call them and confirm. And then if it still doesn't make sense to you, just stop. Now, I was also advised to call the Attorney General and share this information. So that'll be my next step. And so hopefully we can put an end to scammers like this. But I also want to ask you, how have you been scammed, or how have you almost been scammed? Share that here in the comments, and let's see if we can help some more people keep their money in their pockets and avoid scammers.